fight's not over though. It's now just Hush versus Xiao Lu. The amount of damage that duo from 4AM has been able to do here was pretty disgusting though. Look at this. 5 kills at least. They survived. They did a lot of damage to teams rotating, including 17 as they crashed that little bunker. And now Xiao Lu knows that Hush is going to be above him. Jammer pack as well, so if Lu wants, he can really kind of hang out for a second.
You can see what's going on with Twisted Minds down there. As life's not too good. As from this position, Xiao Lu can't even do much more. Blue zone 1 tick is probably going to finish him out. Twisted Minds got held back by what was going on with DK and LG. So there we go. We also see the finish out on the fight going on over here. Is well, you do end up getting the moral victory. There's not too much more after that to be had.
The fight I'm really interested in is actually going to be Ty Lu and 17 once everyone on the south is cleared out, because that dip, as I said, is very susceptible to being naded. And 17, I'm sure, has a lot of utility. They have not had to use too much, but Na'Vi's duo, that position is so damn strong.
I'm going to be curious to keep an eye on them and see how they regroup. Opposite sides of the road, they still have opponents on both sections to work with. Kickstart, though, he's got his own separate set of problems, as he is not inside the safe zone. You can see he's got pretty much everyone in the circle taking shots at him. Most notably, though, it's going to be FaZe that are kind of looking in, as their Ton 5 is caught up keeping their eyes on what's going on with Ty Lu. So Kickstart still needs to make his way probably about another 10 to 15 meters. He's got some.
He's got like a road rage, kind of. Yeah, but he's going to need to use a lot of smokes and utility. And I don't know how much he has left after that initial fight that we saw earlier. And so this duo is in a...
We're going to see a whole bunch of people on the top of the hillside having to move down into the low ground, while FaZe, Na'Vi, and the remnants of DK are just going to be shooting whatever comes their way.
Whatever team wins this South
at this stage, just getting the coverage of those runners. FaZe says, nah, man, we want to go ahead and get done with what's going on with DK. Blue nades coming out, gonna go ahead and step into it, running right into the smoke. There is no safety to be had. That is just an absolute amount of aggression coming out from FaZe Clan. They do lose Gustav. Vortex is down, but they get the position they want. James coming back behind this one, and a little bit of vengeance coming back out. Now it's their time to keep an eye on what's going on.
Nice.
Ty Lu, as FaZe does finally get the finish up in that fight.
The amount of times I've died in that shack.
Dude,
I hate that position, man. It is rough when you are just kind of hunkered down, but at least FaZe staying alive for now. And looking at Ty Lu again, this is the fight I was most interested in.
On the receiving end of that crossfire, as James is going to find Mel, get the knock onto them, and while we do see a real
that was a beautiful...
A second ago, that could be dividends.
The position that 17 has is going to be so devastating for their time to fight into.
Yeah.
That being said, I would love to see some utility smokes and usage there going into that push, as Corexi is just being an absolute just menace right now for Na'Vi. But they know that he has to move, and they know he probably doesn't have a vehicle or any real way to get out of that position safely. So it's just biding their time at this point.
He's racking up them damage numbers, man. Gotta keep pushing him up as he's getting the harassment in. I'm kind of curious to see how T5 is gonna make the move in.
There is a potential for them to try to vehicle send it here to the north around that pipeline. They're still going to be well within the sight lines of 17 as well as Na'Vi, but it beats kind of just running head first into that position, which 17 is very entrenched in.
If you're looking at T5, which way do you just want to charge into, right? None of the options are good, and so that's why they're trying to weaken up what they can that's going to be in front of them, as any stretch out is starting to get a lot more complicated to deal with. And 17 now realizing, okay, now let's just go ahead and cut off anything that T5 is wanting to do.
They do have a bus at the very least, and that is a wonderful form of moving cover, if you will. If they can just get that in position, they can also send it right underneath that hill if they want to. Now that Corexi is gone, they can probably do what they were trying to do in the first place, but that knock coming from Uba is going to slow them down.
The longer that T5 can manage to stay up and move in aggressively into 17, this is actually far, far better for Na'Vi by the moment, because they can exploit more and more of this movement. And if a big firefight happens, it's just Jaibe that's back behind this one. That's just trying to make sure that nothing can happen with Na'Vi. If he goes down, they've got a go moment, and they're already inside of cars. It looks like they're sending it in. They're realizing this is their opportunity. Only one member. They're just going to cut it up the hillside. He switches over, trying to see if he can get the spray out. Instead, no. Nade, try to cook it, see if he can get the God toss into it. How far is it going to go down? Gonna bounce, gonna connect for some damage, but Na'Vi, perfect timing on that.
Absolutely incredible timing. You are not wrong, Matt, as they now have the south side of this and the most cover. But 17 has shifted completely now to go fight towards Na'Vi.
T5 says, thank you, Na'Vi. We appreciate that so much. Now we've got some breathing room, and 17 is dealing with a plethora of targets and having to make sure that they're focusing on the most threatening one. The issue is, everybody is so close at this stage, they're just having to fight for the scraps, while 17 is making sure they're trying to fend up. New circle shifts, and Na'Vi with the only member in it.
Right, and they have actually left Uba behind to try to anchor as much as possible, but the whole team of Theraton has realized that, and if they can get rid of Uba, they can actually start to kind of make a push here on the north side of the hill, which is on that slope to fight Na'Vi. But this is such an awkward circle to fight in, because essentially whoever fights first is going to be at a huge disadvantage.
How many times do you think that sentence has been said by players? If we could only get rid of Uba, as it's going to be 17 making their push. I know, see if they get something. That bus, you mentioned a second, we're trying to hold headshot, just going to continue to find opportunity.
This is not good. This is not good at all for Theraton 5, stuck behind 2 vehicles. The knock again from Xiao Bei. But look at Na'Vi, they hear this fighting. 17 at the very least have done an amazing job of keeping their heads on a swivel and trying to hold back Na'Vi.
They just have to focus in and realize, okay, it's time to take 2 different fights. I have to be careful with Example, going to step and go for the sprays, but 17 holding it together. Theraton 5 is going to go down inside of it. Now up to 6 kills. They get focused back in, but remember, Uba, one flank wasn't good enough. He's now shifted in all the way around to the north. He's coming in on the backside of 17 Gaming, and he can absolutely demolish them.
And that very unfortunate whiff there coming out from Example.